Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the PWTorch Fireside Chat for Monday, January 30th, 2023. How's it going, folks? I'm Zack Heydorn, PWTorch Assistant Editor. Great to be here today Monday, after a busy wrestling weekend that started Friday with SmackDown. Saturday we got Royal Rumble, and here we are for Monday Night Raw, the Royal Rumble Fallout episode of Monday Night Raw. It's going to be a pretty big night. The only thing is, as of right now, we don't have anything announced for Monday Night Raw, which will make tonight's show unpredictable, perhaps, disorganized on the other side of the coin, or just kind of scattered. I think, if you're WWE and you're Paul Levesque, you want and should have something ready to go tonight, given all that went down at the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. But alas, we sit here less than 3 hours out from the show, and we do not have anything announced for WWE Raw yet. Now, that doesn't mean we can't still have a really strong conversation that includes predictions from WWE or for Raw tonight, but also fallout from the Royal Rumble. And we'll get to all of that. I want to thank everybody for joining me live today. Sean and Sir Fark and Dr. Ross and others that are in the chat right now, just chatting away. And we hope that you do that too if you're watching us live. You can also make sure to catch us live every single day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with shows like this, previewing Monday Night Raw. Tuesdays, we usually lean a little NXT, but also kind of review Raw. Wednesdays is AEW Dynamite Day. Thursdays is our flagship. Show, the Fireside Chat with myself and Tyler Sage, where we just talk the news of the week with you guys live. And then Friday we'll do a preview of SmackDown. So a lot of people in the chat here really getting going as far as their thoughts on Royal Rumble, their thoughts on Raw, their thoughts on the fact that there's nothing announced yet. I'm with Sean on this. They need to do better with that. Announce stuff ahead of time. Yes, I think that I absolutely need to do better than that, especially coming off such a newsworthy show. Presumably you've hooked people with the Royal Rumble. Give them something to look forward to. Give them a reason to watch Raw tonight. Hey, Cody's going to have a promo, or hey, Rhea Ripley's going to have a promo, or we're going to hear from Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens, or what have you, whatever it is. But there was a lot of newsworthy events at the show and on the show, and they do need to do better about getting a little bit more buttoned up and organized with that. Zach saying, I got lots of thoughts. Good. Zach, you always do. And I'm glad. So I guess what I'm trying to say, long-winded, if you're in the chat, drop your thoughts in there. Really curious as to what everybody's thinking as far as how the Royal Rumble went. Now that we're a couple days out, and the stories have had time to marinate a little bit, which is good. So, with nothing to discuss specifically, I thought to kick off the show this week, it'd be good to just kind of take the lay of the land of our Royal Rumble winners, both of which come from Monday Night Raw. So I think let's talk about Rhea Ripley first, as like what she has on the table going forward as she marches on to WrestleMania. For Rhea, let's take a step back. We have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event in February before WrestleMania. So that pay-per-view waits in the wings. And it doesn't feel like WWE will be doing a championship match inside of the Elimination Chamber. I mean, I could be wrong about that for sure. Obviously, nothing's been announced. But since it's pretty clear that we're going to Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, the Elimination Chamber, you could easily see, I think, one of the two women's championships defended in that match, which I think, leaves a lot of Rhea Ripley's WrestleMania story up in the air. And so because of that, I venture to guess that we will not be getting like a definitive, oh, I'm Rhea Ripley and I'm challenging Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, or I'm challenging Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. I think she's going to let that linger. It's kind of like the heel thing to do too, is like kind of wait and not call your shots and play your cards close to your chest. Like, I see that for Rhea Ripley. But the good thing is, and is like a lot of people are dropping in the chat here, she's got some stories to play out and to be a part of as that title picture around her for WrestleMania like opens up and comes into focus, right? One of which being Beth Phoenix. We know that that's going to be a direction that they go at some point. So whether it's a one-on-one match that maybe takes place, I could see that taking place on a big episode of Raw, or maybe even at the Elimination Chamber, you could do that. So one-on-one, Rhea Ripley versus Beth Phoenix. That's a big match for her. You could also do the mixed tag, which I think makes a heck of a lot of sense also. You could do Edge and Beth Phoenix against Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley. Either way, and maybe they do both, right? Maybe they do both. They go both directions. But either way, no matter what that picture looks like with Beth Phoenix, that's a solid thing for Rhea Ripley to be involved with as the march to WrestleMania goes on. She's not going to be sitting there just treading water, waiting for WrestleMania to come. I think this is a proper holdover feud for her to fill the time that's going to be there between today, and WrestleMania 39 at the beginning of April. So thumbs up on that. As far as Rhea Ripley winning the Royal Rumble, as I mentioned last week, guys, it really was the only call to make. Like, you could have made the argument for Becky Lynch, certainly. But neither championship match made a lot of sense for her. She's been there, done that with Charlotte. She's been there, done that with Bianca. And I don't see either really, or both for sure not, losing their titles between now and WrestleMania. So I think this was the right call. You go to Rhea Ripley. She came out first. She's got like something to talk about now. She's got a little credibility behind her. Like this is good stuff. In my opinion. So I'm reading the chat here. Sir Fark, is that your comments are pretty darn funny in regards to the whole Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley thing. I love it. Good stuff, guys. So Rhea Ripley was the smart way to go. To me, like, I keep going with it. Zach, I mean, I think you point out a good storyline issue here, which is Rhea was the obvious choice for the Royal Rumble, but they have a problem. Beth Phoenix has to get even with her, but you really want Rhea to lose between now and WrestleMania. No, you don't. You don't. And I don't think you'll see him lose. I don't think you'll see her lose. If you do a mixed tag, that's why that match, I think, makes a heck of a lot of sense, because you can have Dominic Mysterio take the pin, and taking a pin from Beth Phoenix or Edge is not, that's not going to stunt any growth for Dominic Mysterio. And as fun of a character as he's been, he's not presented anywhere near somebody that's a credible guy. And so for that reason, I don't think he doesn't lose anything, losing in that way. So that's where you protect her. But absolutely, Zach, like, I don't think you want her to lose, and I don't think she will. I don't think that's in the cards for her at this point in time. Anyway, so they have something here. They have something with Rhea Ripley, and I think you want to maybe pull the trigger on like a Charlotte Flair match. Like, I could see WWE going, man, that's a big time match, but I just don't see Rhea Ripley staying a heel in that feud. Like, call me crazy, but Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley have this history together, and it's not good for Rhea Ripley, and it's kind of Charlotte bulldozing her way around all around Rhea Ripley. And I think like the conventional feeling in the audience for a match like that would be that they want Rhea Ripley to beat her. And I don't, I don't think Bianca Belair is a scorching hot babyface or anything like that, but I think she would, continue to draw out a heel reaction for Rhea Ripley. And that's the most important thing. That's the most important part of this whole thing, is keeping her a strong heel. And I think that the way to do that is, is to have her work with somebody that can bring that out of her. I think that's Bianca Belair. So I think it was Sean who said earlier in the chat, hey, she needs to work Bianca at WrestleMania. And I think that's the match. I absolutely think that's the match. On the men's side of things, and it sounds like we've got some news dropping from Sean Ross Sapp as far as the Elimination Chamber goes. But tonight, Sean is reporting, thanks to Hazan here, that there'll be qualifying matches on Raw to set up the Elimination Chamber match, the pay-per-view for the United States Championship. Okay, that's another way to go. That's another way to go on this. And so maybe you have like a men's match for the United States Championship. Maybe you still do something with the women and have that be for a women's championship. I like, if this is true, and it remains to be seen, WWE's not reporting it yet. But Sean Ross Sapp is usually on the money with these things when he reports it. The elevation of the United States Championship continues to get off the ground, like with a match like this. And it's been a focus of Triple H's booking since he took over this summer, of making those secondary titles mean something. The Intercontinental Championship had a hell of a weekend, with Gunther having the performance that he did in the Royal Rumble match, right? And his matches and the feuds that he's had has really helped elevate that championship on its own. And I think that the United States title has been featured in a similar way, but just not as strong as the IC title. This is a big sign that they want that title to mean something major and be something important for Raw, to put it in this situation. And on my guess is you're going to have the top contenders on Raw involved in these qualifier matches, period. And so, I think it's just a smart call. I think it's a smart call. And as long as you have like top level talent in the matches, then it's gonna help raise the stock of that belt for sure. So good stuff. Okay. So Cody on the men's side of things. Again, much like Rhea Ripley, the only way to go here, they didn't try to present anyone else as likely of a winner as they did Cody. That it was a concerted effort from the minute those first video packages started airing on Cody's injury and his return, that this was where they were going to go. And I think to that end, it's a smart call. I think it's a really smart call. Now, are they playing with fire a little bit? Yes, they are. It's a risky proposition right now to go with anybody that's not Sami Zayn. But I think it's worth it. Sami Zayn has a strong storyline right now, obviously, and we'll get to him in a minute. But he's getting a strong babyface reaction. No question about it. No doubt about it at all. But at least at this point in time, it doesn't seem like he's getting positioned to be in that championship match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think that WWE and Triple H and Paul Levesque has to take that into account as they book the Cody stuff. Like, that's what matters most at this point in time. I think people will be willing to accept Cody fully in that spot at WrestleMania, provided Sami Zayn has something else that's premier level to do. That, yeah, wouldn't be the Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, but it would be something else. And I think when you read the tea leaves, they've got that going on. You did the turn with Sami at the Royal Rumble. You've got the Elimination Chamber in his hometown of Montreal. That pay-per-view is happening there. So, I mean, I think you're going to see Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns at that show. And I think you'll finally get the payoff to this whole Jey Uso thing at that show as well. Like you will get Jey. My guess is you'll get Jey turning on Sami and helping Roman Reigns win or retain the championship. And then at that point, the heat goes from Sami and Roman to Sami and Jey. And then at that point, maybe Sami and Kevin Owens versus Jey and Jimmy, for the tag titles at WrestleMania. And that, to me, I think that's a suitable, spot for Sami, right? Because look, the story with the bloodline has been about Sami Zayn, yes. It's been about Roman Reigns, obviously, but it's also been about Jey Uso and Kevin Owens too. Especially once you have like Sami is involved as he is, and the fact that you pivoted right at that moment to Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. You had the stuff that took place inside War Games. Kevin Owens was the foil for that. Like that, to me, you don't want to just not pay that off either. Like Sami Zayn needs his comeuppance, right? But Kevin Owens needs his comeuppance against the bloodline too. And I think a good way to get that is you team up those two guys, Sami and Kevin, and they go after those tag titles. And then you have that match one night, you do the Cody Rhodes match the next night. Like, I don't see a problem with that. I know that there's some debate going on in the chat right now. Yes, I think a triple threat would be a letdown. I think Cody versus Sami versus Roman is a recipe for disaster, honestly. Like it's not that the match wouldn't be good, but it's like there's a confluence of stories there that don't go together that I don't think you want to have collide head on. And plus I just am not a fan of triple threat matches like that, just to shoehorn somebody in. Not everybody gets to wrestle in the main event of WrestleMania. You want your top stars wrestling in the main event of WrestleMania. And I think no matter which way they went here, whether it was Cody versus Roman or Sami versus Roman, it's thumbs up. It's thumbs up. With the caveat being you have something good on the table for the guy who doesn't get that Roman Reigns match. And in this case, I think that person's going to be Sami Zayn. And I think that's okay because he has these other bloodline layers and things to work through. Sami should be the person to beat Roman Reigns, period. I don't. You can argue that point. I mean, you can certainly argue that point, no question. I think you can argue that Cody Rhodes should also be the person to beat Roman Reigns, period. Given what he's been through the last year and how hot he was. I don't think you can classify those, Zach, as Cody winning the Royal Rumble as an enormous catastrophic mistake. Like Batista winning the Royal Rumble was an enormous catastrophic mistake the year that he won it. Like Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, I think, are similar in stature on the card. And it's not that you're not going to get Sami versus Roman. You're going to get that likely on the next pay-per-view, in a couple weeks. So to me, that's why this situation is very, very, very different. I think both guys can be in that spot for sure. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this WrestleMania is that, you have the guy who's booking it for the very first time in Paul Levesque. He's got this, not a conundrum because it's a good problem to have, but which way do you go? What do you want your WrestleMania to be? And so, no, I didn't make that comparison. Zach, I did not make that comparison. I said it's not like that. Cody is not Batista 2014. not by a long shot. Cody's over with the audience. If you go to WWE shop right now, his merchandise is flying off the shelves. Big reaction at the Royal Rumble. Not booed out of the building. Like it's not anywhere close to the same thing. You know, you have a decision to make there, of course, but it's not. You know, he's not being discarded. He's not. You know, Sami Zayn is not going to be in a random match against. You know, I don't know. Name a mid card heel like Daniel Bryan was going to be that year. It's not the same thing. They're both going to land in key spots on that WrestleMania card. It's just a matter of like who goes where, and I think, you know, we have to see how the Roman Reigns Cody story will play out too. You know, I mean, like how do they get there? What do they do? What are the promos like? I mean, all that can be very, very compelling, you know, between now and WrestleMania, and really good TV between now and then. So I don't think you want to just completely discard Cody either. Yes, and I think this is a very good point. The good thing is they have a no-lose decision to make. Any of the three beating Roman is a great story. And by three, I think you mean Cody, Jay, and Sami, right? Like, that's absolutely true. Nick Barbatti's right, 100% on the money with that. Like, they can't go a bad route, especially with Sami and Cody. I think both those guys can get the reaction that they want to get. As far as Cody winning the Royal Rumble, I think we need a promo from him this week. And I think we need a Cody promo that's not like that's not a Cody promo. You know what I mean? Like, we know the story at this point. We know the injury status at this point. We know that he's back. We know that he's going to want to win the championship for his dad and himself and the fans. I mean, we know all this. So I want to hear a different promo from Cody. I hope it's today, but it may be next week or, you know, whenever. But the next promo from Cody has to be more along the lines of like, I'm back. I'm ready to kick some ass, and I'm ready to beat Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. I think, yeah, you want to harken back to the story, but then I think it has to be about Roman and Cody. I think you have to start developing a personal feud there, you know, and a personal nature of that rivalry that you have close to 2 months to build now. I mean, you know, so that's a long time. And I think, you know, you just want him talking a little bit differently. You want him talking like the guy who's in that spot as half of the main event of WrestleMania, and not who's somebody who's looking to get there. Because I think the psychology of those two promos are really, really different. Really, really different. I think you want him to be in a position that's different now. He's reached that new mountaintop, right? He's there. Talk like it, act like it. To me, that's important. And Cody can deliver, you know, but he's got to be reined in a little bit too. I mean, Cody can get off and going on his own with these promos, as we all know. But man, he can also cut really good babyface go home style promos when he has the material. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see from him. Yeah, I think it should be strong. He's got a lot to work with. But I think it needs to be framed. I think it needs to be framed in the right way. Let's get to some. So this is an interesting point, Dr. Ross. I flagged this on the chat just because I didn't really even bring it up to discuss Roman winning at the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's a potential. And for that, I say, to that point, I say this. You don't have to make any decisions about that right now. Unless, you know, like Steven said, for some reason, there's something in Cody's contract that says he's going to be the WWE champion within a year of signing. Obviously, that would circumvent what I'm about to say here. But unless there is something like that, I mean, there's nothing that says you have to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And I wouldn't beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania just to beat him. You know, if Cody Rhodes between now and WrestleMania doesn't build a groundswell of momentum, or that audience reaction isn't there, or the audience reaction for Sammy is significantly louder than it is for Cody, or you get the sense that the audience is turning on Cody a little bit, or whatever, for whatever reason it's just not working. And I think in that situation you do pull the trigger on Roman Reigns and you have him go over. Like, at this point, Roman Reigns and that win, and that the pinning of Roman Reigns to the mat 1, 2, 3 is a major thing for WWE. It's a major piece of just business equity that they have. It's not exactly as deep and historical as the streak was, obviously, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, it's close in terms of like the notoriety of what that's going to mean for the person that does that. So you don't want to waste it. You can't waste it. You've built this thing for nearly 3 years now, and you cannot let it go to waste. And so that's why I think you judge it in the moment. Is Cody hot enough? And are the fans at the edge of their seats ready for this to happen? Is everything coming together at the same time? Oh, it is? Okay, we go with it. It's not? Okay, we don't. And we wait till the next. We wait till the next one. We wait until somebody is at that level. Maybe it's Sammy. Maybe it's somebody else. Who the heck knows? So, but I don't think you just are giving this out. You're not just handing this. You're not just handing this out to Cody Rhodes just because. My 2 cents. Okay, so that takes care of the Royal Rumble. We talked about the United States Championship that's being reported as what will be defended inside the Elimination Chamber per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. 2 other topics that I wanted to get to today, one of which is the cage match between Becky Lynch and Bayley. Are we getting this match? Are we not? Like, it seems to me that this would be the match that you for sure have booked for tonight, since it didn't air last week on TV. You had the angle that played out last week on Raw, and then you had that roll into the Royal Rumble match. And I just don't. You'd think that this would be an easy one. That this would be one that, okay, we didn't do it last week, but now we are finally going to have this match this week. And I don't think that's been talked about yet, but I'll go to this. I'll go back to this match. As I said last week on the show, I was shocked that when they had to cut something for time, it was this, pretty well booked and well built women's cage match. Let's see that. I would love for them to actually pay that off and see that. But it doesn't look like that's how it's going. If some WWE is booking some stuff right now. Azan's predicting Becky, Candice LeRae, and Michin in a 6-woman tonight. Maybe. I just wouldn't go that way. I'd pay off what you advertised last week. You have that match there. Go ahead and book it. I don't know. They did not announce it. They have not announced that yet. I think they should have announced that. It seemed to make the most sense, especially after the angle that played out last night at the Royal Rumble. So there's that. It leads me to another question of, what does Becky Lynch do at WrestleMania? She's not going to work Charlotte Flair. I don't think she's going to work Bianca Belair either. So does she get shoehorned into a match? Rhea Ripley versus Becky versus Bianca? Maybe. that would make sense, I guess, but it's not something that I want to see. Can they really leave Becky Lynch off the card? Does she get Ronda Rousey in a non-title match, perhaps? I'm like you. I'm still into that match too. I think you've got one last shot to heat Ronda Rousey up for something and make her matter more than she ever has since she came back last year at the Royal Rumble. And you should take it, because you don't have her forever. And if you want to just soak out the last bit of intrigue that she has is a singles match against Becky Lynch. That'd be what I would be building towards here. It just doesn't seem like they're leading that way, Sean. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is, but it's certainly something that that I'd be looking to do to just get the last bit of equity you can out of Ronda Rousey in particular, and that way you don't have Becky Lynch on the sidelines for the biggest show of the year. I mean, that would really underscore the lack of kind of direction and importance that she's had in WWE and on Raw since she's returned to the company at a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. I don't think you want to just totally discard her. And it seems like, man, that they've been doing that lately. Bayley in an interview, gosh, who was it with? I forget who was with. Maybe Ariel Helwani talked about the match getting canceled, and I agree with her. That's definitely a positive spin on how to look at that situation. But like, it's not very hard to kind of spin it on its negative side and go, well, yeah, but they still got bounced, and Charlotte didn't get bounced. Bianca didn't get bounced. Some other weird poker segments did not get bounced. So while I get what Bayley's trying to say, I'm also thinking to myself, yeah, but like, you don't want to be in that position where they feel like they can do that without any harm. And with Becky Lynch involved and that match is getting discarded the way that it did, it just doesn't seem like she's at the forefront of plans right now. And I just don't understand why that is, given the regular crowd pops that she gets, how talented she is, her history with the company. To me, it seems like you want to treat her like Roman Reigns, in that she always has something good to do. Get her in a long-term story. Maybe not like the bloodline, but like something else, something new, something fresh. So that's Becky Lynch. I want to know in the chat, this will be the last thing we toss around today. Do you think we see bloodline follow-up tonight on Raw? Is it important to do it on Raw, or is it important to save it until SmackDown? This poses a very interesting issue because, look, the WWE announced this morning on their website, we reported on it on PWTorch.com, that they broke all sorts of records with the Royal Rumble. They broke Royal Rumble gate records, Royal Rumble viewership records, merchandise sales records, sponsorship sales records, like just a gangbuster success of an event. Built on, the back of Roman Reigns for sure, and also Cody Rhodes. He was a centerpiece of the build here. And so you had momentum coming out of that show, clearly. And the momentum, it rides on the back of Cody, but man, the angle at the end, right? That's what people are going to remember about this show, I think, most. And do you want to give people 6 days of something else to do before you get back to it? Or do you want to strike while the iron's hot? And maybe you've captured people's attention for the next day or so, where they go, oh man, oh yeah, there's a wrestling show on Monday. I definitely want to check that out. The Royal Rumble was cool and they did this thing. And so, I want to, I want to check it out. That could be a play, So waiting, it gets you to SmackDown, which is the A show, I guess. But then you do have to wait 6 days before you address it. So I think we will get some of the bloodline tonight. I don't know if that's going to be Roman Reigns. I don't even know if that's going to be Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens, but I maybe Jey Uso or in the Usos, something like that. I think you'll get yes, exactly like Steven said here. I was about to say the exact same word, tease. I think we might get a brief tease followed by, I'll give you my full response to SmackDown Friday. I think that's what's coming. And I don't even think that might be with Roman Reigns. Like I said, I think it might be with some of the tier 2 players. Again, maybe it's a Kevin Owens thing and a Jey Uso thing or something like that where they interact. But I think you want to feed that story a little bit on this show to capture the attention of the folks that you that you kind of won over on Saturday night at the Royal Rumble. I think that's important, especially when you have an event that did such good business, like the Royal Rumble did for WWE on I don't know that I'd argue for this, Steven. Cracking me up as usual. 10-minute Solo Sikoa promo. He's a few years away from that, I think. I like Solo Sikoa a whole lot. I think he's very, very talented, but no, I don't see that happening right now, tonight, or in the next, year or so. Cool. All right, guys. Well, look, hey, WWE, we know that you watched this, right? Wink, wink. Get some stuff booked before less than 3 hours to the show starts so that we can discuss it here and preview. We'll be back next week, obviously, to preview Raw. This week, we will be here for NXT tomorrow, ahead of AEW on Wednesday, and our flagship episode on Thursday, talking all the news of the week, Royal Rumble fallout, whatever happens tonight, fallout, and everything in between. So I thank you guys for listening and joining and watching for the last 36 minutes. Awesome discussion in the chat. As usual, you guys are the absolute best at sparking conversation and debating politely with everybody's different opinions. I love that. It rules. So keep it up. I hope you guys continue to join this chat on a weekly basis. I'm PWTorch Assistant Editor Zack Heydorn. Follow along, PWTorch.com tonight for full Monday Night Raw report and analysis. I will be on the post show filling in for Wade tonight too. So if you want to chat there, please do so. We'll be there, 2-3 minutes after Raw wraps up. So join us then. If not, catch you next time tomorrow for the NXT preview. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. See ya.